Well, y'all know we back with another one, the Uneducated Educator. Today we have a live Q&A show. We have Pika as a special guest host. She will be interviewing Ashley and I. But we're gonna play some music before y'all. When we wait for people to get in here, while we wait for people to get in here.
First time ever making song.
Ain't nobody watching it.
This make me want to go to Carnival, so we need to play that.
While we wait, so I got my hair braided in these micros, right? So it took this girl 3 days to do my hair. Mind you, she told me she don't work, she don't have a car, she don't have nothing going on. She's a homebody, right? So when I asked her to do my hair, so how much you charging me? She's like $100. I'm like, okay, So she comes to do my hair the first day. All right, she couldn't finish it. The second day, she couldn't finish it. So the second day, first of all, she showed up 12 noon to like 1 o'clock in the morning was the first night. She kept stopping, inviting people to my house and shit, thinking it was a cookout, all that, So then the next day she showed up at 9 o'clock at night. She told me she'll leave by 1 o'clock. All right, fine. So I had paid her, and I was like, you gotta get back some of that money because you ain't done. So I said, listen, I got something to do tomorrow, I need my hair done. No to no avail. So I ended up getting up, finding somebody to finish my hair, and I paid that person the $40. That this was last week. Why is she gonna text me today to go so she feel like I stole owe her $20? I called her.
I know that's right.
I owe you 20 what? You couldn't keep up with your end of the bargain. That has nothing to do with me. Keep in mind, I have to pay somebody to finish what you started. You know what I'm saying? Furthermore, I'm gonna keep it real. Like your work is superb, and I could have gave you another $20. But you should have said that day when I told you I had to pay somebody else. You gonna wait a whole week later? Like, come on, but what happened, bro?
Yeah. Yes,
like, come on.
Very much.
I just had to get that off.
Well, at least you did a good job of all of that because that's who wants to go through.
Exactly. Yeah, it looks so cute with the twisted it.
Thank you. Yeah, this is twist, and then I did some braids right here.
Okay, cute.
Thank you. I seen it online. I was like, oh, I need to do something to my hair.
That's cute. You got a nice little angle.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. What?
Okay.
Let's see my shirt.
Firewood.
No, it's not. Where Uncle Eric at?
In New York.
I was being funny. Not really though. That's my uncle. I love my uncle.
Every time we do this right here, it reminds me of like I feel like it's the radio stations, but like even in a party where they just be talking, like I'm listening to the music. Why y'all having this conversation?
Yeah.
Let's talk the opening music.
I'm calling this soulfish.
Someone had sent me something, and it was talking about how Jamaicans, how they be over the radio. And it was,
yeah. Lord God.
That was funny.
Hey, soak it.
Okay. Because people don't know that. I be hearing so many conversations about should I wash my meat? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, y'all be washing your meat first? Yes. Do that. You're supposed to do that. That's all things you're supposed to soak it.
Some of that salt.
Okay.
You just soak it good. Soak it.
Soak it good. Jab never use no stove. We heat it up with some firewood. Soak it good and put it big in the saltfish. Samuka in the saltfish. You can cook in the saltfish. Makakoki in the saltfish. You have a cookie saltfish. I have a cookie saltfish. But we season the saltfish and we sweeten the saltfish. Soak it good. Soak it good.
We got one person, Civil, on the panel. We got one person watching, waiting for more people.
What's Robin up to?
Children getting ready for this Chris Brown concert.
Okay. I think that's why I did my hair.
Chris Brown.
You want to see Brown baby? Yes.
You know it's supposed to rain?
That day?
You know, if
Hopefully, but it's scattered, and the percentage was like under 37, so hopefully it will get lower.
Right. It'll rain before we even get there.
Okay.
Well, don't rain at all. It'll rain till after we leave.
Okay, that'll be even better.
For last time, I'm in the shit. Say hey to Nikki and Ashley. Oh, I don't want y'all to see me. Okay.
No, we can't see you. We can hear you though.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh, Nikki, that looks real cute.
Oh, thank you.
So when is the Chris Brown concert?
Next Saturday.
Okay, what you wearing?
I don't even know yet.
Oh, Sybil, you got an echo. Do you have 2 things on?
What you saying, Ashley?
You have an echo.
Chris got an echo. It sound like.
I was thinking when Sybil was talking though. Now I'm hearing when I'm talking. Okay, yeah, maybe it's Chris.
Chris, your audio is horrible. That's how that song going. Just close.
All right.
No, wait. We have an echo.
Somebody has an echo.
Hello. No.
Yeah, got two things open.
It's not me.
It ain't me.
Is it you, Chris?
Wait, hold on. Let's see. Hold on, let me see. Tell someone to mute your mic. Hello. No more echo.
You good?
Tell someone. Yeah, I'm good.
Can't.
There's feedback from me. Positive feedback from me. Does that give us a feedback? Let me see. I'm trying to make all the adjustments. Who else got something like that?
It's not me or Nikki. We can't hear you.
All right, so it's not me. Mute your mic, Ashley. Oh, we need Nikki. Peekaboo. Where are you? Talk.
I was just making sure I turned off the TV. So make sure, ain't nothing in my background.
See, there it was. Turn your mic back on.
Okay.
I'm still hearing something.
It's Ashley.
It's not me.
It's going now.
It's Ashley.
It's not here now. You start talking.
Wait, let me see.
Can you? We didn't text him. I'm doing the same thing I do every week.
Yeah, I know.
Hold on. Let me text Sybil and tell her mute.
No, let me.
No, I can hear you, Nikki. You ain't gonna text me.
Okay. Mute your phone, Sybil.
All right, hold on. Let me wipe my hands off. Let me press the mute button.
Hello.
All right. How is it me? All right. Let me try this again.
Exactly. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Nikki, you sent the text?
No.
Oh.
Somebody got on earbud?
Mm-mm.
All right, let's see what happens.
Did it stop when I got out?
No.
It did.
It
I
did.
didn't hear a tick tick noise. I don't hear it no more anyway.
Okay.
I'm
All
offended.
right.
I'm offended that it was
Why are
me.
you offended?
Why don't you say?
Well, we've been on 15 minutes, and I guess we should get the show started.
Mhm.
I want to see if it come back. I don't have no sound on. All right. So next, Pika, start the show.
Hey everybody. So we're doing our question Q&A today. And I'm just going to start off with a couple of questions. First one is, where you guys from and how'd you end up you guys in Virginia? How you end up in Virginia?
Go ahead, Chris. My story's long.
My story's long. Well, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. My family's Trinidadian, but what brought us down here in Virginia, this trip, my mom broke her leg, so I came down here to help her out. And after she got better, I just stayed down here. You know, I got a lot of y'all are down here, so we just stayed and made our home down here again. Pretty much easy like that, you know. I mean, Virginia's cool. It's not like, you know, New York where everything is fast paced and you can get a train at any minute and a bus at any minute. But
don't forget the dollar cab.
Right.
Dollar cabs too. I mean, at least when you're driving down a block, you're not just like driving, stopping, and mashing up your brakes every 30 feet. You know, here you get to open up your vehicle a lot. Ash?
Okay, so I'm also from Brooklyn, New York, and we're related. So my family is also Trinidadian.
Trinity's in the house.
Okay,
Hey.
first generation Trinidadians in the house. Let's make that clear. So we're this close to being islanders ourselves. I'm in Virginia for the third time. This time I was chasing love. I'm gonna make it cute. So I was chasing love. My baby daddy lived here, and I wanted to be with him so bad that I came back.
I guess.
Now, let me stop. I came back because I was living in Charlotte, which I love Charlotte so much, but it was lonely. I think I spent a lot of time living away from family, and now, especially since my son is getting older, I feel like I want to be closer to my sisters.
Okay.
And my boyfriend lives here, so that also.
You went out. Ash, you got to repeat the last thing you said. You went out.
I did what?
Yeah, you kind of lagged out. We didn't hear what you said. Did you hear what she said, Pika?
Yeah, she just wants to be close to the family, and plus her boyfriend is here.
Okay.
Okay. Second question. What was your upbringing like, and was there anything in your upbringing that you would change?
I mean, yeah, as I stated before, you know, my mom was a single parent, but my grandparents have a house in Brooklyn, you know, over on 40th Street. Shout out to 40th Street. We still got a couple of people that live here on 40th that we still holding on to the block. I mean, but yeah, they had a house out there, and so basically my grandparents really kept me and all my cousins kind of close. So we probably had more support within each other because we were always together, you know. So that's basically how we ran. We always stayed together like a little gang.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you. So I know it's a lot of girls in the family, a lot of females in the family. Like, was there any challenges? Maria, come on with the noise in the background. Was there any challenges? Or how was that?
Well, with all
like
girls?
You know, as far as fighting and type thing or whatever. You know, one person fight, everybody get down. How was that?
I mean, quite honestly, I mean, we don't want to be all out there, but we had a lot of occasions where we called on each other and we went and handled a lot of situations. I mean, nobody was going to allow nobody get beat up. I mean, definitely
Right.
not gonna let that happen. But we weren't
Look at
all
Nikki
that.
smiling, nodding her head over there.
We wasn't that troublesome. You know what I'm saying? And it was
Yeah.
Right.
back in those days was real communities. You understand? Everybody on our
Right.
block knew everybody, so you couldn't really do nothing without getting in any trouble because
Right.
somebody would actually go down the block and tell your grandmother, or just wave to my grandmother who was always on the porch or in the backyard or something. So it was not like we could get away with a lot of murder. But when we got a little bit older, as you know, I'm gay, so I've been kind of rough all my life. So they pretty much didn't need like a dude.
So let me ask you real quick. Growing up like in the West Indian household, how was that? Just coming out to your family as far as the acceptance? Is that like for another show or too personal?
This is the Q&A. We definitely answering these questions, but what I'm saying to you is my grandmother did not like that idea. You know what I'm saying, of me being homosexual. She didn't get that at all till very late in my life. You know what I'm saying? She was well in her 70s, 60s before she accepted it. But I had,
Right.
I had my wife, who I've been with now for 16 years, they grabbed the bond together because they spent the last couple of years together. So my grandmother learned to appreciate what I appreciate and what I love. She also loved, But when
Do you
she first
feel like
saw it, no,
do you feel like
say-
grandma treated you different or funny because of that?
I mean, I was more set apart and doing like bad things and not really being around my family at that time of my life. I breezed through, but I wasn't like always around them with that. You know what I'm saying? It came in a time in my life where I went exploring, and I definitely wasn't going to be exploring around my grandparents. But I mean, I could tell a funny story. One time my grandfather did catch me in the house with another girl. I snuck a girl over there, and when my grandfather found out, he kicked her out, told me don't come back. But I mean, they let me come back eventually, but they was tight. You know what I'm saying?
Who was the most accepting, do you feel like, in your family when you came out?
My Aunt Maria. She let you really be yourself around her. She don't judge you in that aspect, and she was always there for me.
Okay. So let's move quick. Sybil, anybody else had any more questions? Hold on. Hey, Blazin', hold up. Okay, so my next question is, what was your relationship like with your parents or parents?
Growing up?
Yeah, growing up. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, well, I tell my dad this all the time. If my mom watches this, I guess she'll see it. But we don't usually talk.
She ain't gonna be commenting in a minute.
But I feel like we grew up in an age where our parents were more like our older siblings. Like I feel like my grandparents raised me. Grandpa used to take me to school. Grandma used to make my breakfast. They used to put me in the bed, in the bath. Like my mother was there, but she was busy. She was going to school, working, whatever she was doing. I don't know. Because, I was young and I didn't know what she was doing. But she was busy, and Grandma and Grandpa did all that. And my dad wasn't in the household. So definitely feel like my relationship with my parents was like an older sibling. I mean, we cool now, but...
I got a quick question for you, Ashley. So you don't remember the time where your parents were together?
They broke up when I was 3.
Right.
Honestly, the only memory I have of them is probably the last argument they had in front of me. Like I just remember it being dark and I'm in the bed with them and they're beefing. And then the next time I really seen my parents together again, I was like 27 and pregnant. Like
okay.
Okay. No.
So what type of relationship do you have with your mom?
It's pretty much non-existent. We talk enough for her to speak to her grandson. And that's about it.
Well, I mean, I'll family is Trinidadian, and all our parents were born in Trinidad, and I believe that a lot of the traditions and ways they stuck to was the same exact way they was raised. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, a lot of it was us raising ourselves, but we did it together. We spent a lot of time together as a group. You know, I remember your parents taking us all out to places and doing a lot of things with us. We don't really know the extent of what went on, but you know, your parents also kept us tight. And your uncle had some siblings with kids too, and he brought them along as well. So it made our group a lot bigger. But
you mean her dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ashley, real quick, Chris mentioned, you know, y'all growing up traditional West Indian household. With your son, have you like incorporated any of those traditions raising him?
I think the only thing that I do is like he says. I think the most Trinidadian thing he does is call everybody auntie or uncle.
Okay.
And you know, we put family first. Like family is important. He knows all his cousins. Like
right.
I kept that, but that's pretty much it. I feel like a lot of the stuff that we were taught, like I didn't realize that I was American until I moved to Virginia, and then I was confused. I'm like, I was American my whole life in New York, but apparently not. And then it was just like a lot of the stuff that, like Chris said, they were, you know, holding on to that they were raised with, but it was like to their detriment. Like it really made life hard, some of the things. And I love the culture, of course, and I do try to teach my son stuff, but like it kind of made me not want to keep any of the stuff that we had. Well, a lot of the stuff that we had growing up, because it wasn't, I don't feel like it was good for us. Like it ended up making our life a little bit harder than it should have been. As far as some of the lessons that we learned just as people in interacting with our parents.
And I think that's like a lot of like, you know, culture wise, because, you know, back then, you know, like a child stay in a child's place and you don't ask certain questions. So once you do get into like the adult world, you kind of like fending for yourself for trying to figure things out, you know? So I get it. Thank you for that.
That was a good question. Chris, what about you?
Well, one of my biggest things is that we weren't really explained to about men, women, and sexual relationships in entirety. You know, nobody sat us down and explained to us about any type of sexual situation. We were basically taught ourselves any of our own standards. I mean, I want to quite be honest. I've never found a man when I was dating men that acted like my grandfather.
I was going to ask you if you ever had a boyfriend. I'm joking.
I'm gay now. I understand that, but like I said, I'll always say this: if you don't try things, you can't say you don't like them because you don't know about them. If you had a bad experience with it, then you can say you don't like it. You understand? I'm not like that. But like, I've never dated a guy that was like my grandfather, who went to work and came home, washed his car, hung out with his grandkids and his wife. I've never seen my grandparents have a full-blown argument, or never seen my grandfather put his hands on my grandmother. And like I said in previous before, I don't know if my grandfather ever cheating on my grandmother. His side chick never came to pull up on our block, ranting and raving in my trying to fight my grandmother in the street. So yeah, I mean, traditionally, the idea of a long-term relationship is what they presented to me, and I understand that, but they never gave us the aspect of how you get there. You understand? So a lot of us got where we got on our own through trials and failures. But it's okay because you can only learn that way. I mean, I've been in my relationship now 16 years, so I think I did a pretty good job of, you know, with the experience that I do have.
Okay. Another question. What was y'all? So basically, we're all related, and we're related because our mothers are sisters.
Correct.
What was your mother's relationship like with their mother?
Oh Lord. So growing up, it was tumultuous to say the least.
Smoke.
Uh, they like my mother used to complain about stuff that grandma would do. Like grandma would offer me food after mommy said no to certain things. Like if I wanted some kind of sweets or something. Pretty much grandma did the opposite of anything my mother just told me not to do. And it was frustrating to say the least. And then my mother complained about it like my whole life. And then after grandma passed, all she does is text me every so often talking about all the good things that grandma used to do. It's so funny. I guess she feels like she should have taken some of that time to do that when she was here, but they were like butting heads all the time.
Let me ask you real quick before you answer, Chris, because it's like an age gap between y'all. Like y'all experience with your grandma, is it different like than Ashley's, or like discipline and different things because of the age gap? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if everybody. I'll let you know. I'm the oldest grandchild. My mom is also the oldest child. My mom's relationship and my grandmother, I would say, was a distant one. Most of the time, my grandfather came and got me and my little sister, or me when I was a little bit younger, and just brought us over there and hang out with them. I didn't see so much of a relationship like me and my mother dressing in the same clothes, or with my grandmother and my mother. I didn't see, stuff like that. Their relationship seemed to me quite distant as well. My mom's is a very isolated person, I guess, not as sociable. Introvert, and she's not social. And I feel like a lot of the things that goes on we don't know about, so we can't understand a lot of where their behavior comes from. You know what I'm saying? Because we weren't informed. Nobody's telling us what happened prior to us coming here. We just know from when we were born and on. So basically, the relationship between I don't see my grandmother and my mother didn't love each other. I just don't see, it wasn't one of those where my mom was at her side 24/7, or they were hanging out in clubs and partying, and we didn't see none of that stuff.
Right.
No, I didn't see any of that stuff.
I didn't see it either. We definitely.
Okay, and where I'm going with, so like I said, our mothers are sisters, and like with my mom and grandma really wasn't like that either. Like you said, humorless, always bumping heads type shit, whatever. And like even when grandma was like in the nursing home and she was in her last or whatever, I always thought that it was crazy that all of her daughters were here in the same state, in the same city, like friggin' 5 minutes away, and you couldn't even get them to go together to have lunch with their mom, like, which was really strange to me. And why I ask this question, because it goes into the next question as far as generational curses. Do you guys believe in generational curses? Why I ask is because, for example, like you said, Chris, your mom is a loner. All of our moms are loners. Like, they're sisters, they don't even hang out. Like, that's kind of strange. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you feel like that's passed on to us, like our generation? Ashley, I know you don't got no siblings, but I got something for you in a second. Chris, what you think?
Well, I mean, to be quite honest, my sister lives in Williamsburg. I live downtown. My mom lives, you know what I'm saying? And we're not like all in one house. You live somewhere else. Ashley lives somewhere else. I mean, it's like none of our siblings like live together. You understand? So it's the same exact situation as when they live. None of them.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. How much times a week do you talk to your sister?
Be honest, 2 times a week.
No, I'm joking.
I would say on average twice a week.
Okay.
On average twice a week.
Feel
because
like
I call my sister to complain about my mom. not really complain because I love my mother to death. You know what I'm saying? But my mom does things that I find very funny, and only my sister would find it funny. You understand?
Right.
Because that's her child as well. So that's sometimes my
So
mom.
let's say for that week your mom didn't get on your nerves. How often would you talk to your sister for the week?
I don't know, probably about the same amount. I don't really know. I'm not a really calling people on the phone person either. I'm not. I'd rather talk to you face to face.
Okay. And like with Ashley, I know you're the only child, but you are like our little sisters because we was like raised in the house together and stuff like that. And even your relationship with us, your cousins / sisters, how do you feel? Like, do you feel like it could be even more, less, like,
I feel like, well, I guess to incorporate the generational curse thing, I do feel like that exists. I feel like it plagued our mothers a lot. I don't know. And I feel like now that I'm older, because I'm the baby, and I'm also the favorite. I'm everybody's favorite.
You are.
I feel like to get rid of that, we chose, we didn't all do it together, but I feel like we all independently chose, and it actually ended up making us come together. We chose to be more open and transparent. We don't have the secrets that the generations before us had, and I feel like just being that open with each other, like I feel more comfortable and confident in things that I do in life, because I know even if I'm making a bad decision, I can call y'all and y'all are going to support me regardless, and y'all going to tell me the truth. Like I don't ever have to, I'm not ever outside wondering, and I feel like that kills a lot of things right there, because we're not separating ourselves from each other. We're all to the point where it's like one of us moved to a city and it's
next thing you know, we all there.
Exactly. That's how we all got down here. Like it was like, oh, one went and then we all just trickled down, and then we around each other for years, or we always come out to visit. The minute I come here to visit when I'm not living here, I call everybody like I'm here. What we doing? When can I see you? Today, tomorrow? What's up?
Yeah.
Well, my mom was the pioneer to find Virginia, so she came down first, and then everybody came after.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been coming down.
This goes to my next question. How important is family to you guys?
So important. It's very important. I wouldn't say, I would love to know all of our relatives, but I'm all right as long as I got y'all. Like,
right.
Like I feel like as long as I got my cousins, like I'm Gucci, and then I make sure my son knows his cousins, so he's the same way. Like that's very important to me.
What about you,
Chin? They go a generational passing down, because we keep the cousins tight, close knit, where they almost feel like they're brothers and sisters as well.
Exactly.
For me, family is important, but at this age that I'm at, and most of y'all are grown now, y'all have your own families, and that's what you do. But we're all close enough that we can always get together and have fun. Family is important because it takes a village, and
right. And I feel like it's all good that we all have families and but I feel like where we came from is also important, and we should never lose that. Like that is so important, that core, like,
it's instilled in all of us. I mean, we really do all still communicate with each other, just not as often as we like, but we definitely, if something happened, we'd all be alerted. I did thought at one time we were all going to get in a van and go down to Charlotte, but
and we was ready. We was ready. Ready. A van full of bitches, but we was ready.
Okay.
We was gonna go make a move real quick, but people came to their senses, and we didn't have to do that. But like I said, it would happen that way, I assume, even at this age. But with all the raising of children and grandchildren and nieces and nephews that we have to look after, we're really busy people. Plus, still working and taking care of our partners is also something that we have to do. So it's not like we're alone and not we just isolating ourselves away. We have partners, we have lives, and we're doing that. But you know, we take the time out to call each other and catch up. Somebody always has a joke to tell, story,
No
a
way.
mission.
Listen up, I got a story to tell. Okay, so what makes you want to do the uneducated educator?
The craziest thing, I believe in each one should teach one, right? That's my motto. That's how I feel. And I've talked to people at work when and they've told me like you should do a podcast, you should do a podcast, and I'm wondering why. But my mindset is so driven to share these messages and just educate people on what I've learned to hopefully motivate people to take some time to get to know their mate because it can't work, you know, if you take time and you don't have to sleep with everybody in the world to figure out who's good for you. You understand? And being experienced in a lot of things in life, I just figured that I just need to share this with people. And I don't know where it's coming from. I do want to say that God is good, and I believe that
All
He's
day, every
motivating me.
day.
And I feel like He has given me the tools, the confidence, and the power to go ahead and bring this type of platform so that I can share a lot of the stuff that I've learned and meet people and speak with people that can also share stuff that they learned so we can help motivate the world in a better direction. There's a lot of stuff going on that's freaky out here. And I just need to slow some of that stuff down. I feel mentally, I need to slow it down. I'm scared because a lot of the things that people should be trying to do, they're not. I feel like these kids, 18, 19, should be driving garbage trucks, you know, driving the buses, you know, the stuff that we need done, you know, the normal everyday stuff we need done, but they're not ambitious and going after these things. They want to be athletes and rappers. And we're losing the scientists and the doctors, and we need these type of things. So I just want to motivate people to do
I'm not
what
done yet. Hold on.
think about alternate ways of living life other than what's been going on lately. That's all.
Okay. Speaking of that, do you feel like okay? Because we're talking about like the way we was raised, and Sybil asked a good question about the traditions, the customs. With these kids nowadays days, do you feel like? And this is my opinion. Everybody knows I'm very opinionated, but it's all good. We all could agree to disagree. Do you feel like? I feel like, and I don't have kids, so none person's nobody, but I feel like parents nowadays days get so caught up in making sure their kids have everything that they've never had and has to experience things that they didn't experience. So, life can be so good that these kids, like, they're lost. Like you said, they're not out here doing, garbage. Nobody wants to be a garbage man or, get an honest work for the MTA. Nobody wants to get an honest living. They want to be rappers or TikTokers or YouTubers or hip hoppers. Do you feel like some of that has to do with like the upbringing and not having some of our culture trickle down? Because I feel like, and we all interpret our best, I feel like I was always instilled, like you said, Ashley, life was a little bit harder because I was always told that I had to work for what I wanted. I wasn't going to get nothing for free. Don't be taking no handouts because you're going to owe, stuff like that. Like, do you feel like some of those things that, like you said, Ashley, you just don't want to?
Okay, so I have an answer for that because I think about that quite often. I feel like a lot of that is the parents nowadays are at the point where they're healing from their childhood. They're being the parents that they needed when they were children. The problem with that is the children are going to remain lost because they're doing the same things that our parents tried to do to us. They had a path for us, they had a plan for us, and they spent all that time trying to make us live that life because they think that they're doing something different by giving the child a parent that they didn't have. But it's the same thing because the child is lost because they're not parenting, they're not being a parent that the child needs. They're thinking about themselves. It's very selfish, it's very self-centered. They're just like, oh, I didn't have all this stuff growing up, forcing it on their kid. Like a lot of kids don't even want that stuff. A lot of kids will be happier with experiences or morals or values and stuff like that because it comes with time and affection and love and pretty much all the stuff that these kids are missing instead of Jordans and video games and nonsense. So their upbringing is affecting that, because they're thinking that they're stopping generational curses when really the next generation is going to have to heal from it too, because now they have to figure out how to be the person that they didn't get the chance to be when they were a child, and also parent their child the way that the child needs to be parented, instead of being the opposite of the parents that they have.
Okay, see, so I feel like now, let's say like growing up wise, we was always taught to have respect, talk back to your elders. Again, you got to have responsibility, you have to make a way for yourself, because you're not going to be given things. You have to work to make way for yourself, stuff like that. Do you feel like the kids now these days have that in them? Because for me, not having kids, looking at these kids growing up, I don't feel like these kids have that in them. You don't think that that's something you would want to pass down to your son?
I agree to a certain extent. I feel like respect is earned and not given, but at the same time, I don't think they should just be disrespecting older people. But if the older person is violating, like, I don't know if y'all seen that video of the lady that was like, oh, she's all right, when the dude tried to introduce his girlfriend, like, and of course the girlfriend didn't say nothing out of respect, but come on, how long are people just supposed to let older people or elders disrespect them just because they're elders? Like, some stuff needs to change on both ends. But I'm not saying that they should just run around disrespecting people, but I'm just saying on that part. And then, like, yeah, some things do need to be taught. Like, I think it should be yes, no, just.
What about consequences? Because I felt like growing up, we was always taught it's a consequence for everything you do. Well, if you do something good, you get a good consequence, a good response. You do something bad, it's a consequence for that too. Do you feel like the kids nowadays have that instilled in them?
So I don't agree with consequences. I don't agree with forcing consequences. Like, if my son does something, if I tell him don't do something and he keeps doing it, and then he breaks his toy or whatever, like, let's say that's what he was doing. Now you just don't have that toy no more. I'm not gonna go buy another one, but I'm not gonna punish him for it because he broke a toy. Like, a lot of things that were done as an emotional response. And in order to teach people to be like a more balanced human being, I have to control my emotions to get him to be a more emotionally controlled person. Like, I feel like when he was younger and I used to pop him or even think that I was going to whoop him, even though I wouldn't really whoop him, I realized that I was upset when I was doing it. Like, I wasn't doing it because I was trying to teach him something. I was doing it because I was mad and he pissed me off. I'm not going to do that. But I do feel like people spend a lot of time being their kids' friends. Like, I'm not doing that. If my son came in here at 14 years old and was like, Mom, I want to get piercings and I want to get all these tattoos and I want to go sleep over my friend's house or sleep over my girlfriend's house every night. Like, I'm not doing that. We're not buddies. I'm not letting you do that. And I feel like a lot of people are doing that. I guess now they're like trying to find themselves and worried about building their confidence because they didn't have that in their childhood, that they're not giving that to their kids. It seems like it's a lot of either it's me or the kid, and a lot of people choosing themselves.
Okay.
I got something to say on that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that we had a whole generation of children having children, and parenting went out the window because they weren't even mature enough to have children, and they weren't being parented, obviously, because they were able to have children. Okay. Raising babies, they had no choice but to grow with the children. Now, I'm not going to say every 14-year-old who had a child didn't do good with their parenting skills, but how could you do something with so little time and little knowledge? You understand? Like 14 years, how much do you really know at 14? And then now you have responsible for making sure that another human being knows. You're teaching a baby from the start, from a 14-year-old knowledge on. That because of obvious, the parents are working. That's why the 14-year-old was able to even go out and have kids. They still have to continue to work now to take care of 14-year-old and her children. And so, the 14-year-old has been suppressed in the household all this time. So she's like, as soon as I get on my feet, I'm never going to let my child, you know what I'm saying? And then they go above and beyond. But because she didn't get time to learn more stuff, she's learning as the child's learning. And I think that's the blame in a lot of situations with that. Because you really need a lot of information to have kids. There's no manual out there. So the more knowledge from other people expressing what goes on with these children that you have, is the better that you can do it with and react to some of these behaviors. I don't know about y'all, but when I was younger, I did something wrong. I knocked upside my head. Hey, that's how they did it. And I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to be honest. It didn't deter me from being bad either. You know what I'm saying? It didn't all my thought now is, how bad am I going to get it? You understand? I'm going to still try it anyway. You know what I'm saying? But my mom had to go to work as well. So I raised myself, and I make my own bad decisions based on the fact that, you know, I was in the home alone. I also, at the time, I had a little sister who I had to watch. You understand what I'm saying? So I was trying to grow up.
Remember when you and Tammy ran away? Chris, you remember that? When you and Tammy ran away on y'all new bikes?
Yeah, Ashley Fall, Uncle Eric was the one that picked us up off the street and took us back home.
They had their backpacks with their peanut butter and jelly and Reese's peanut butter cups. And me and my sisters was crying like, oh my gosh. And then the crazy part is, wait, like back in the day, right, it was no winning. So poor Tammy, she didn't have no choice. If she didn't run away with Chris, she was going to get beat up by Chris. If she would have she ran with Chris, she get beat by her mother. And that's how we was raised, like, one go, y'all all go. But the crazy part was there was no winning, because when it came to snitching, like when somebody did something bad, we was all together, it was like, what happened? If you don't tell, you was getting beat. If you told, you got beat for snitching. Like, it was no winning. It was no winning.
I remember one time I was the worst. Whenever something happened to me, I was usually by myself. One time y'all went outside and didn't want to take me with y'all. And y'all snuck outside, and y'all was like, close the front door, but don't lock it. So I closed it and caught myself being fast. I turned off the light in the living room and went to walk out, and I bumped into the coffee table and flipped forward and bust my whole mouth on the statue. Remember that gold statue that used to be on the thing? And then I started screaming, crying. Everybody came running downstairs, and all of y'all got in trouble because I hurt myself.
That's how it was, though. Before we get on the subject, real quick, though. So, back on the subject of having respect for your elders, stuff like that. Again, me and my opinionated self. I feel like kids nowadays days do not respect their elders. You know, I was just taught that I don't care how nasty an old person is being, let them vent, roll your eye, you know, turn your back, tell them shut the fuck up, but you have that respect. What do y'all think about that guy in Harlem with the Amory shirt on, Amiri, whatever the hell, the one with the girl? So the girl, it's a story, I don't know if y'all seen it, about in Harlem. The girl went to this bodega to use her food stamp card to buy chips, and it declined. She went outside and got her boyfriend. The boyfriend came in the store, went behind the counter, draped up the old man, and the old man ended up stabbing him to death. And now people are protesting, saying that this old man was wrong. What do y'all think on that?
I don't think he was.
I don't either.
There's no self-defense in New York. That's what I'm gonna say. But
actually, not trying to be funny, they had put up like, it was like this real extreme. The prosecutor asked like this real extreme bond. But once they got in front of the judge reduced it drastically, and he was able to post bond for like an hour. And the people of New York is going crazy, ape shit. And I, in my opinion, feel like dude had no respect. Like, how you go behind the bodega window? He went behind the counter and started hitting the old man. Like, where's your respect?
So, of course, I don't feel like anybody's life was worth.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
But again, I feel like it doesn't sound like the old man was disrespectful. Even if he was, the situation could have been handled differently. Like, this generation seems to be so insecure. Like, somebody says some words, you don't like the words they said, then say some words back or whatever. I don't know. Go about your business. Like, y'all, like, they be out there trying to take somebody's life because they felt so disrespected. But that's a personal thing. Like my respect, even if the old person disrespect me, they can say whatever they want to because I love grandma, but grandma was not nice, and I'm not going to pretend like she was. But I learned that wasn't on me. That's something that she had to work on, because what was her reason for being not nice to people? Like that's like lashing out at folks. And when you lash out at people, that's something that's bothering you inside though, because clearly that's an escalation that it didn't need to go to. So like not being able to respect somebody over some words, it seems like it's an insecurity, and that seems like something that dude should have been working on, not just and or it could have been just he wasn't brought up that way. Like,
and you can't really hear on the video. I don't know if you saw it, but the guy like walked behind the counter. The old man is sitting. He's like smacking him up, drinks him up. Like, where's the respect? And a lot of times I bump heads with a lot of my friends when we get into these subjects. Like, for example, I can't remember the boy name, but the one in Florida with the music in the Jeep. And again, rest in peace to these people. And this does not mean that they should have lost their lives. But I feel like something as so small as respect could save so much lives. So a couple of years ago, the young boy in Florida, him and his boys, they were black in a Jeep playing rap music at the gas station. White man pulls up, oh, take off this rap music. I'm sick of this ghetto thugged out shit. These little niggers, whatever. The little boy whose vehicle it was turned the music down. The other boy all the way in the back was like, fuck him, and turned it back up and proceeded to curse the white man out, and they went back and forth. He got out the vehicle. The white man ended up shooting him and killing him. Again, rest in peace to that little boy. He did not deserve to lose his life. But I feel like if that little boy would have had an ounce of respect, as in respecting your elders, regardless of what that man said, because I was always raised to respect your elders. If he would have respected his elders, he would have his life right now. Like, I just feel like people don't have respect no more for life, and just a little bit. Respect is like breathing. Like, how could you not have respect? And before we go any further, shout out to Blazing. She said the boy, he had no business going back there behind the counter. Right. Definitely. But go ahead.
I feel like, you know what? Now, and I'm listening to you say that, I feel like it's actually not respect. I feel like it's more self-control, because like you said, they talking, even if it's not an old person, whatever, the other person is talking, like, who cares? Just, all right, whatever, brush them off, go about your business. Like, that could have been 2 seconds. They turned the music down, drove off, turned it back up, and been fine. Everybody would have been fine. That's a lack of self-control. And I feel like that comes from, like, parents' responses. Like, if I was being here whipping my son, like, I'm losing control because I feel like he did whatever that got me to that point. And to see that example for years, and nobody's talking to these children, they think that that's how you react to situations. When he go in the house and he accidentally drops some water on the floor, and his mother come running out her room and want to whoop his ass, or his dad come running out the room and want to whoop his ass. Wait, what does he do when he's outside and somebody say something? I don't want to turn my music down. Now I'm about to whip your ass, because that's what he know.
Okay. Yeah, listen to this stuff. Why did it make her angry that she couldn't afford the chips? So angry enough that she would go out there and tell her boyfriend this man disrespected her. No, she disrespected herself. She didn't have the money for the chips. She shouldn't. Why she even went and told him anything? You know what I'm saying? You embarrassed in front of your own child that you couldn't afford to buy him a bag of chips. So you get angry at the man and start carrying on. You know, every action has a reaction. So her reaction to not being able to afford the chips is to mouth off to this man, which gives him a defensive stance now, because she's attacking him, right? So he snatched the chips out of her hand. She feels disrespected now by him snatching the chips. She couldn't pay for it, but instead of going out there and asking her man for the money for the chips, right? She go out there and tell him he disrespected her. Where's her logic and where's her thinking? You know what I'm saying? Why is she so angry? Why is he so angry? People not taking the time to get to know themselves or get to know each other, and they in these relationships creating children that turn out to be just like this: angry, bitter, sore. You don't have nobody to talk to, nobody to relate to, nobody understanding their pain. Whose fault is that? You understand me? This is what I'm talking about. We need to stop that. People getting killed over senseless stuff like that don't make no sense. You understand me? It don't make no sense because if my mother didn't have money to pay for something, she wouldn't bring me in the damn store.
Okay,
Point
so
blank.
another
You
question.
understand me?
Did y'all see the video with those kids, preteens and teenagers and from between 13 and 17 that beat that man in Philly?
In Philly,
3 o'clock in the morning to death with a cone. You know the traffic cones? They beat the 73-year-old man to death. Again, respect. How do you not respect your
How old
elders,
is
number
he?
one? Number two,
So
but
how
then
old
again,
you said they were?
between
How old
13
you
and
said they were?
17.
They legally still should be in their parents' home. Where are their parents?
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, where was your
Where are their
parents at 3
parents?
o'clock in the morning?
Where are their parents allowing them to be outside there? I couldn't be out that late. I couldn't be outside that late. But personally, that time of night, there's nothing outside but trouble. Or unless you coming from McDonald's
or you selling poems. No, let me stop.
So children,
this is
the
the internet. They ain't selling pussy like that no more on the curb.
Oh yeah, they're on OnlyFans now.
Right.
They're doing every other thing but that. But what I'm saying to you is, where are the parents? And this is the problem. Y'all want to run around here sleeping with every guy you meet, thinking that's the way to catch him, and it don't work. You get pregnant, now you got his baby. That relationship don't work. Boom, where you at? Somebody else in between your legs. First of all, the behavior is so reckless. You're having sex with these people with no condom, no type of protection, right? So that's one thing you're doing. Then you're getting pregnant. You barely can afford the Jordans on your feet, right? Now you got to try and get Jordans for him and you too. Come on, man. The morals and standard that's out here now has just gone through the roof. Nobody's taking the time to say that. Nobody's taking the time to point that shit out. That's fucking ridiculous. You hear me? Or there should be no 13-year-old outside past 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. What the hell is there to do out there now? Especially with COVID. You should really be going your ass to school and back home.
And the sad part was, it was like a little girl that was like initiating this shit.
But you know, real quick, what's crazy is because it make you think like the parents, like you said, Chris, where the fuck was they at? They probably wasn't out. They probably was out. You know what I'm saying? Like, where was they at? But
for real,
like you said, it's just a bigger picture, and this is about breaking generational curses.
Exactly. I agree with that.
They are sipping on that Hennessy, posing for TikToks, and doing other things other than trying to motivate people to get where they need to be. I mean,
exactly.
Listen to this. Listen to what I thought about. Seriously, just listen. If at 18 you go to college, right? Well, 4 years you need in college. A decent is 4 years, right? At 18, if you go to college, after 4 years, you'd be 22 years old? If you just take 5 years to work and save that money, right? Then you find somebody who is doing the same exact thing, working and saving y'all money. Y'all got the same amount of money. By the time y'all like 30, 32, you have kids, you could have experienced a lot in 5 years and have enough money saved up and be financially sound to when you start having kids do stuff with your kids, so you have no time for them to be in the streets.
Exactly.
If you take the time to get the education to know just the basic stuff, you can start your own business doing something that you really love. Because people pay to watch people eat now. People pay to watch people play video. This is the honest truth. You know what I'm saying? People do this. So if you can do something and do it well, you can get paid to do it. That is the motivation, not out here trying to sell drugs. Because quite frankly, I think that's getting played out. Yeah. They're making weed legal now. So how much money can you really make?
The hell with that when you got these damn high schoolers posting their prom pictures and they got $400 bundles in their ear. You know what I'm saying? You're pulling up to the prom and fandoms and shit. And you check their damn background and they making money on OnlyFans. Shit.
I know the stars are making it no better with all this flashing they doing. I can't even understand most of the stuff them Migos say. But I see all that money though, and that's all the kids see.
Exactly. I feel like
you could babble rap and make money. y'all ain't gonna tell me no shit. 3-piece of chicken is sitting up on something, and Quavo was the man. Y'all stop me. I'm telling y'all, I'm telling the truth. They not talking about nothing. It's not like Biggie Smalls told us something. He told us how to cook the crack. He told us don't tell your mother what you was doing. Don't tell nobody what you was doing. You know what I'm saying? These people told us stuff. These guys ain't telling us nothing. What you saying, Ash?
Oh, I was just saying, like, that whole part about where the parents being more involved is the truth, because like if the children that age 13 to 17, right, let's say they lost the most important person in their life, whoever they love the most in their life, they would not understand death. So when they're outside taking a life, they also don't understand that death. But having active parents who can, like, and you can't be with your kids 24/7, but at least talk to them, at least put them in activity, put them in something that keeps them productive, and help them pick a circle of friends that are just as productive to get them out of that. Like, that same group of friends could have been studying somewhere or learning a new language or
3
something.
o'clock in the morning. At 3 o'clock in the morning.
I'm just saying,
that's ridiculous. They should have their ass in their bed.
I'm just saying that same group of friends. I didn't say that same time. I just said that same group of friends could have been doing something else, because I'm sure they don't understand what it means to take somebody's life. The same way they wouldn't understand if somebody just died.
Their ass is gonna understand when they sitting in jail.
Right, they don't have a choice now.
They do understand how to take someone's life, because most
they
of their lives
don't understand what that means, though. Because like I said, if somebody they don't, because if somebody died, they would be confused. The same way some adults still don't understand death completely. It's just the children's minds are not ready to correlate what that means. They'll get it after court, and after they get sentenced and all the stuff that comes with it, I'm sure it'll settle then. But when they did that, that's what they need guidance for. That's why they need guidance well into
entertainment.
Really. You said what?
What is that, entertainment? Because where do you see that going on then on a regular day basis?
In the video games, in the music, on social media. It's everywhere. Death is everywhere now. It's fake. It's viral. It's even real death is fake. Like, nobody's explaining this to them. Kids is on social media and ain't nobody talking to them about it. Like, it's kids on TikTok watching the same TikTok videos me and you could be watching. They don't need to see that. They shouldn't be allowed to see that. They got cell phones, parents not monitoring who they talking to on the phone. Like, it's they just giving them stuff and telling them to do it. I don't understand my phone. Why would I give that to my child?
Because he understands your phone.
Exactly,
and but that's the explanation. Maybe because they know how to work them phones. Right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. Myself, 2-year-olds know how to navigate an iPhone. Mm-hmm. Okay, an iPad.
And pull up videos on YouTube and can't spell. Exactly. How you pull up a video on YouTube and you can't spell?
Exactly.
Because Siri is nosy, and Siri can translate more than I don't know how many languages, but they understand what Siri understand what them kids be saying. You say Siri.
I like it Cocomelon.
Exactly. And Cocomelon come right up on the screen. So Google.
Jamel?
Alexa is in the business mood. Alexa and all of them just be in the business. You don't even have to be looking. Alexa, I want to let you know where you're going.
Exactly. I used to disable YouTube in the settings or whatever, and I used to take the tablet, go in the other room, do it, give it back to Jamel. He can't get in it. He was like, "What you doing?" I was like, "I'm turning this back off. You done with it?" He was like, "Oh, okay." And he's looking. I'm like, "You can't look at me." He's like, "I already know how to do it. You just go in the settings and you search for it, and then you hit enable, and then you hit disable when you've done." I'm like, "Why do you know that?" He didn't even see me do it.
Exactly. Don't make no sense. But they have YouTube for kids.
Yeah.
And if you're a parent and you're monitoring your children's stuff, their phone shouldn't even be allowed to go on anything other than the stuff for children or necessary for education. Period.
And YouTube Kids is questionable enough. So it's crazy.
Well, I'm saying I've seen some of these programs that they've changed with the ABCs, and I've come to enjoy some of these little black children.
You ain't know they
singing
got the damn songs with the Afro beats, the calypso beats, the reggaeton beats.
Okay.
This world is definitely going places, but we're stagnated because we don't want to accept some of the truth.
Exactly.
And we have to start being honest with people and stop trying to sugarcoat.
All right, let's
stuff.
get real controversial. What y'all feel about 5-year-old transgenders?
Children
Listen.
do not know what they want to do. They do not know. Some grown-ups don't even know. Okay. I'm just gonna say this, and then this is the end of this is my final thought on it. I feel like a lot of that community needs therapy first. Years and years of therapy. Children, grown-ups, whatever, before they are allowed to transition, because some of them don't really want that. If I got up right now and said I wanted to be a pirate and I want y'all to take my eye and my leg, I would get committed. So I feel like they would think that I need to see somebody before I do anything with that. And I feel like that goes for everything. I just feel like that's how it should be. Therapy, everybody should get therapy, but definitely if you feel like you want to mutilate your body, because that's what that is, it's mutilation.
Chris, what you think?
I'm gonna apologize beforehand to the LGBTQRX ZMZ community, which I think is too much stuff added on to that, and I could go on about that as well. But I'm not gonna. I don't want to offend the first couple of letters in that community. 5-year-old children don't even know how to properly use toilet paper. Okay. Why are you allowing them to tell you what they want to be of anything? There should be no gender practices, whether or not they are girl or boy in a 5-year-old's mind right now. Right now, the only thing in the 5-year-old's mind should be how they get that snack, apples, and getting to learn how to play with other children. I am because it's like I'm a strong believer in God. I believe in God. I believe you cannot get nowhere in life without God. And according to what I know about God, when you least expect it, He take care of everything. You understand me? He never leave you out there. God is not wrong. He don't make mistakes. He knows all of this beforehand. So okay, then I could say, all right, maybe he this is something so that we can learn from it. Because other than that, I don't see it him making a mistake. I am as gay as ever. No, I don't want to be a man. There's no comparison to the love that a woman and a woman has for each other between a man and a woman, because there's not enough masculinity anywhere for it to be a heterosexual relationship. Telling me in my mind that I want to be a man is impossible at 47.
47.
Right. Who is that old?
If the child, that's crazy.
Niggas are still 35. This bitch 47.
Right?
Listen, I don't care what y'all about. I'm not gonna lie. I am okay with life, and God makes that. But what I'm saying is, at 5, that's not the information they need right now. Those are not life coping skills. They need life coping skills right now, so they can protect themselves from people being predatory, people being spiteful, hurtful. There are so many other lessons that they need to learn at 5. That gender assignment is not one of them. I'm just saying, word, because all that I'm trapped in my own body, and I don't know. You don't know at 5. You know what I'm saying? You don't know anything at 5, and you can't not like ketchup if you never ate it. So you're only going based on something somebody either told you about ketchup or the way it looks, but you're not going on your own information. And that's what we need to really focus on, giving children the information so they can make wise decisions. I mean, the freedom to do, because you got the money to do it doesn't mean you should. Straight up. That's obviously what that's about. I got the money to do it. My 5-year-old says she wants to be a girl. I'm gonna do it. That shit is ridiculous. Because listen, and there's nothing wrong with these people. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with them. But just like Dwayne Wade's son, who's dating a woman, I mean, that whole thing is just confusing to me. And I'm grown. You understand me?
He want to be a girl that's dating a girl that want to be a boy. So why the fuck y'all just didn't stay the way I was at and be who you are?
Why are they dating anyway? I feel like that's too young.
Right.
That's the next thing. Why do y'all keep on pushing it on these kids that should not know that stuff yet? They just exposing them to everything and stealing their innocence and calling it parenting.
I mean, they're too young. They allow and people are allowing it like it's okay. It's not okay. You know how hard it was to be gay? It wasn't easy. And if nobody in this world could tell me that's older, because I mean, they probably got a little leisure now. But they, you know how many men got beat up trying to be their real self in their hood? Come on, man. That's not realistic. That's my problem. They're not doing stuff realistic. We need realistic things. We need to see the realism so people can understand how to navigate through that. You making up stuff. What sense? How does that make sense to me? I'm confused. He's a boy. He wants to be a girl, but he wants to date a woman, right? Who wants to be a boy, right? So she doesn't understand where she is. He doesn't, and they're still being heterosexual. There's nothing gay about that. So how can the gay community that? There's nothing gay about it, no matter what it looks like. There's nothing gay.
He a boy, she a girl. Their roles just reverse.
No, their clothes are just reversed. There's no
right.
Their clothes is just reversed. Their attitude might be reversed. But if they're gonna enter any type of sexual behavior, it's heterosexual. So they're not doing anything wrong, regardless of what they're doing, where they're putting things. And with them having the same basic parts as they were born with, there's not much else they can do.
Right. Okay, so I want to say one more thing, and then I know Nikki got something to say because it's burning her tongue right now.
No.
But like, I don't understand why they're allowed to do this with children when nobody's talking about the effects of the change. Like, they're introducing hormones into these children's bodies prior to their body even being ready to receive the hormones. If anybody has the surgery, like I read that if you have the surgery to go from a penis to a vagina, you could have feces and urine coming out the front. Like that can make you sick. You could have a problem for the rest of your life, and nobody's discussing that. There's no consequences being spoken about, and they're just like, oh, anybody could do it. Kids could. No. Somebody really needs to sit down.
They're not telling you that you have to have something inserted inside of you for hours at a time so that hole doesn't close. They're not telling you that it takes 5 years before you can even feel that penis that might not even get erect. That you need. There's so much other stuff that they're not telling them. How much medication they have to be on. How much mental health. They acting like this is something that you could just do.
Right.
It's not a pedicure, people. You don't stick your toes in the water, come out and Ling May start digging and cleaning up stuff. This is not how that works. There's a lot of stuff you have to go
Ling May and May Ling.
What the girl name to do your toes name is?
Mei Ling. Now let me stop. But real quick, back to the 5-year. I just feel like with the kids so young, I feel like the parents are being lazy because, like, not trying to be funny. Growing up, like, we had mad girls in our family, and once in a while a boy cousin would come around or something, and if we was playing with dolls and he wanted to play, it was nothing there for him to play with but a doll. So like, I feel like some of these parents will walk in the room and see their son playing with a Barbie, and they put it in their head their little son want to be a girl, stuff like that, and that's how the shit get out of hand. Like, you know, like, they don't let kids explore. Like, little boys are gonna like pink shirts. That don't mean they gay. Little boys are gonna like red ices. That don't mean they gay. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like a lot of this stuff is like forced on these kids because at the end of the day, some of these parents probably want to do this shit and they couldn't.
Exactly. That and like the way that things are now, it's a lot of single parent homes. Of course, your son might want to be a girl. You the only example that he got as a mother. Like, that don't mean nothing. My son says stuff that he thinks he want to do. He's like, when I get older, I want a purse. I'm like, why you want a purse? Oh, mommy has a purse. Okay, that's because mommy's a girl and girls have purses. You don't need a purse. We're gonna get you a wallet. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are not talking to their kids. Oh, he want to wear heels. Yeah, because you wear heels and he want to be like you. He likes you.
Right.
Like,
Y'all gonna make me get canceled talking like this, right? But don't Lil Uzi wear a purse? I seen a video with Lil Uzi had on a bomber that looked like a little girl's bomber. But what I'm saying is the Cameron wore pink. The man is, we know he's not gay. These are just people just be throwing these ideas out and making them something because they don't even want to do the research in time or just shut their mouth without saying something stupid. If you don't know, don't say nothing, right?
Exactly.
It's save you from looking like a fool.
I see one lady, she has 3 children. I think they're all adopted. One is in a wheelchair. Another one, the youngest one is a little girl, and then I guess the middle one is a boy who is now transitioning into a girl. She gets the ultimate likes. They get to go to Disney World whenever they like. I mean, I'm like, ma'am, do you just have these children for attention? Because it seems like every
Now is a hell of a drug.
Right. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, what? He doesn't even seem like he want to be a girl. He really just seemed like, oh, you paid a little girl attention, so I'm gonna do what y'all do.
Right. Everybody else a princess. I want to be one too.
Exactly.
You know, naturally, it's okay for you to embrace your feminine side as a man because everybody has some type of feminine estrogen and masculine mix. It's just that the levels of estrogen and masculine in some people were very different. But I mean, like, there's nothing. I always try to explain. Your sex is what you're not labeled in your sex. You as a person, you know what I'm saying? You're not labeled into what you do sexually. That's nobody's business. How you carry yourself
ain't none of your friends' business. And I'm sorry.
How you carry yourself would give people an idea of who you want to be, but that doesn't define you in the bedroom. These people. And to decide on doing anything other than being a child, and that's the problem here, because they won't know that they can't. For instance, they wouldn't know that it's pork. They never eat pork. How they know the difference? You know what I'm saying? But if you explain to them, look, we don't eat pork, and these things have pork in it, they will stay away from them. And it's just that simple. These people are talking about, oh, look at him crying. He's a baby. And, you know, a lot of that happens with the men because they, you know, when, especially in sports, they start, you know, living vicariously through their children, want to be that football player they never been, that basketball player that they never been. And as soon as he hit his foot, he want to rest. But with the dad wanting him to be Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, he pushing him beyond, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's crazy. These moms too, thinking that, you know, they believe their child looked like how they looked when they was younger and got them on stage busting up their feet because they want them to be a private dancer. I mean, a ballet dancer, and all they could ever been in their life was a private dancer. You know what I'm saying? What's that shade?
That's funny.
Why is that shade? They got it right here now. What's this show, P-Valley?
Is that what that's about?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
What is that about?
I don't know. I never seen it.
Oh, it's about strippers.
It's good.
I knew Sister would make that.
Hell yeah, make you want to get in shape, get on that, you know, make a couple of dollars.
I
make it
clap.
Make it clap.
We throwing money. I'd get on the pole my damn self. Right? The whole girl had 2 shopping bags full of money.
Oh my god!
Strange little change. I'll spin around the pole. I just know when I get all the way to the top, I ain't coming back down. So y'all pick my money up, and when y'all get the ladder, you know
down should be easier.
Like my earnings, but I'm doing mine in boxes in a sports bra. And if they don't like it, fuck them. Don't come to my show. They ain't showing no ass. I don't have.
Somebody there is gonna like it.
Well, listen, then you're gonna have to start cash apping me money in order for me to get a butt because I wasn't born with one of those at all. So I'm not shaking nothing back there. My mama ain't giving me nothing back
there. I cannot.
Well,
girls, I have no more questions.
All right. Well, we went A whole hour and almost 30 minutes live, talk, shooting the shit, breezing through. Now, I'll say it again, and I'll say it every time. Like, share, subscribe. If there's anything you would like us to talk about,
If you froze a little bit, you froze a
Well,
little bit.
Ashley was
If
getting
there's
fed up.
anything- If there's anything you want us to talk about, leave a comment and we will get to it in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Good
Thank
questions,
you.
Nikki.
Right.
Thank you for answering my
participation.
question.
Good night, Blazing. Thanks for your participation.
Okay.
Damn.
what?
Oh,
What happened?
we're waiting for you to end it.
Mhm.